Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and in today's video we are going to have a look at the brand new Gold Coast airport from OrbX, releasing on the 19th of January. It's a very promising, very promising, I should say, airport. And before we start having a look around, let's quickly go over some of the key features. So it is a high quality rendition of Gold Coast Airport for sure, and updated to the 2024 airport layout, featuring 4K textures. It comes with animated jetways with sounds, but you may be seeing already that we are standing on one of the walkboarding gates over here, and the reason for that will quickly become evident, because I just think that this position looks absolutely superb indeed. So other features of the airport do include unique ground service vehicles, and incredible attention to detail for both land and airside, and I'll show you that in a few moments. It's highly optimized for performance. It features dynamic airport lighting, custom taxiway signs, and detailed ground marking. So overall, a very promising airport, and if we just raise the camera a little bit, you will immediately see what I mean with it. So if we just have a look at the parking positions over here, at the level of detail of all the objects that we can find around, then this indeed promises to be one of my favorites in Australia for the year. So now let's have a quick look around some of the airport's features. You can see we are standing here on some of the walkboarding positions, stand number 1 in our Jetstar Airbus A320. Unfortunately still with CFM engines. I do hope to get the IAEs finally, and obviously sharklets would be nice as well. But if we just take a look around the airport, just have a look at all the ground clutter standing here and its positioning, the level of detail we can see on that ground clutter and that equipment. That's looking just really superb. So if we just go forward a little bit over here and have a look over at the containers, the level of detail on them, or the level of detail on the other equipment over here, that's just absolutely superb. Also the level of details that you have for the walking areas for the passengers here, really nice. And if we do go ahead a little bit, let's just quickly jump landside. So let's just do what all of you probably want to do all the time, and just jump the airport fence and just have a look at the level of detail we've got over here in the area. That's like really superb modeling over here. And I mean, how often have you seen the bus station of the airport being modeled to this level of detail? That's just really cool. Likewise, if you go to the passenger drop-off stations landside over here, international arrivals, just have a look at that. It's really superb if you ask me. Likewise, if we do go ahead and walk over to the domestic part of the terminal, just have a look over here. That's again really neat modeling that OrbX have done over here. Even 3D speed bumpers on the roads over here. I do wonder if I taxi over them, if that's gonna have any effect. Well, in any case, I do suppose we go back to those parts that, as pilots, we're interested in the most, which obviously is airside. So, I would love to go to that restaurant, though. In any case, that much about the landside look of things here. But even if you just go a little bit offside of the immediate airport area, then we still see a good bit of detail over here, until we eventually end up based in the standard Microsoft scenery. So when we enter the airport area, that's just looking really cool. Alright, so with that now seen, let's do another jump. This one probably more of a Star Wars Jedi-like jump across that terminal here. Up, off we go, and we're flying. Alright, straight back to airside and to the part of the airport that most of you are probably going to see rather often. So this is what it looks like when you come to the main terminal areas. Now, the windows are rather dark over here, but if we do quickly jump up and have a look inside, then we can see that's what it looks like still. Fairly good level of detail that we've got up here, taking into account that from no airplane type that you can fly into this airport that's got approximately 2,000 meters of runway, you will have any chance to look inside up here from the cockpit. So this is really stuff that you only see when looking around the airport like that. Now, there is one more part of the terminal that is worth having a look at, and that is what we can find over here. Now this is probably one of the more interesting looking ones. If you just have a look over here, gate number 7 left, this is what it looks like from typical pilot's point of view. And we can see that there's a good level of detail inside over here as well, both on the lower part of the terminal as well as on the little bit higher part up here. Alright, so that's pretty much what all those gates look like, but what really strikes me on this airport is just the look of the detail when we go over the gates like this, and just seeing how those gates are modeled and how all that equipment is standing here. It might be the good old Ryanair pilot in me coming up, seeing all those walkboarding stands, because, well, I did certainly get used to them, but overall, really good looking level of detail we've got over here. Also, if we go into some of the other airport areas, like for example, one of the remote gates, like we got them over here, again, good level of detail. And if we go over to that air traffic control tower over here, just to have one more look inside before we go back to our airplane, this is what it looks like. So overall, really good level of detail. I really like the look of the airport. It just gives me that authentic feeling of being there, if you know what I mean. Especially with all the vegetation around, with all those very good quality buildings around. It just feels right. That is what I probably can say about this. And for the record, yes, I did get a free pre-release copy from OrbX of the scenery, but I tell you honestly, had I bought that one like a standard customer, it would probably not have changed my opinion of the overall airport. It's just looking really, really good up here. Okay, so last thing that we quickly want to have a look at is the general aviation apron. Gold Coast is certainly one of those airports where you can fly your general aviation into, be it your favorite Learjet Phantom or your favorite Cessna for a local flight. By the way, those are static models over here. Do really like how they put those covers on the airplane, because Gold Coast obviously is one of those places that can turn rather hot in summer. So keeping your airplane cool, probably one of the most important things there. So again, this is the general aviation apron, I should say, and it's looking really, really good. That model of the Twin Otter over here as well. It just gives you that authentic feeling, if you know what I mean. So overall, really well done. Even some hangars for a small aircraft that we've got over here. Hangars up for lease, alright. So this is what it looks like. Really cool, and well, I do suppose we're gonna take our A320 flying in the area now. We've got a flight to Sydney planned, and probably another flight or another video from Melbourne or something the likes, so we can catch a good view of everything we can find in the area. For now, that's pretty much a look at the level of detail that we can find up here on Gold Coast Airport, which is really nice. Also seeing those security barriers over here, stuff like that modeled, looking pretty good. I do hope, though, that they left a couple of security cameras and stuff like that out. The last thing I want to read in the headlines at any point in time is that a person with bad intentions made their way into an airport where they should certainly not have been. Alright, so this is what it looks like entering the runways down here. And I would say with that, we've now had a good look at the airport. And we can now head right over into our A320 for our flight over to Sydney. Okay, so what have we planned then? We're sitting here in our Jetstar A320 CFM non-sharklet version on that really beautiful looking gate. Now let's go straight into the cockpit, and here we are. So we just arrived from Sydney. We're going to fly back there right now, and we do have our Simbri flight plan. Oh, I do apologize, it's not Sydney, it's Wellington. We came from Sydney, we are continuing to Wellington, that way around. Okay, so, yeah, that's it, huh? Pilot who knows his stuff very, very well. I would never ever get lost. I would never pull off the WDL and fly to Edinburgh instead of Düsseldorf. I would never do that. Never. Alright, cool. So, we've now had a little look over here, so let's go ahead and get our flight plan uplinked. We're going to use the ATSU for that. Lovely Airbus. You simply request everything, and everything is available for you straight away. Okay, so in a data request, here it is, Jetstar 431 from Gold Coast to Wellington, 2 hours 59 flight time with our alternate in Auckland. So request that flight in it, and while that thing is working, let's go ahead and run our overhead checks. So pretty much not a lot to do up here, because we literally just arrived, so really not many checks for us to do, but we can figure out that we forgot to pull the speaker for the third ACP, which is necessary so that PAs are getting recorded. Okay, quick look over our aircraft systems. We still got sufficient oxygen, we still got sufficient hydraulics, and we still got sufficient oil in the engines. And then we can literally from here on turn on the ground clutter suppression, and that's it. I will be pilot flying again, so we keep the transponder on system number 1. Okay, perfect. So that is pretty much all we need over here. We got a company message there. Let's have a quick look into what that is. Okay, that's a load sheet. Well, thank you very much. Prelim, we do accept that. Okay then, cool. So we will be JST 431, and let's have a quick look. Cost index 10, cruising at 370 initially. Alright, we can do that. So cost index 10, 370, then flight plan, departure. Let's have a quick look into the latest weather that we have. The wind's been really varying around a little bit today, so let's have a quick look into the METAR. Downloading, downloading, downloading. Come on. Eventually, maybe? Not really, huh? Okay, here we are. So, 360 at 16, 10 kilometers, broken 2000, and 21 degrees 1016. That looks about good to me. Okay, so 360 at 16, that means runway 32 is going to be in use today. And in terms of the departure, I always find that a little bit, well, not that easy with flights from Australia departing towards New Zealand, because often there simply aren't sits available that lead you to your first waypoint. I do suppose that means we are simply going to fly the Gold Coast 6 departure. Or what's that, Apagi? No, we are not going to go to Apagi. So we fly the Gold Coast 6 departure over here. Alright, perfect. So Gold Coast 6 is what we're going to take. Insert that. Thank you very much. And for our destination, let's have a quick look at what we're expecting over there as well. So it's the SimSy 3 Charlie arrival, runway 34. Right, Alice 34. Let's see where it is. SimSy 3 Charlie. Insert. Thank you. We'll just keep it at that for now. For engine out, we simply go straight at so YBCG 32/3 what's that, 319/25 miles, so simply straight at 25 miles, pick up the hold over there, and then we can program an immediate return should we need it. Why didn't the holding insert? 319, here we go, that's probably better. Okay, that is better indeed, and in case we need to return, it's going to be YBCG as well, new destination, and that's going to be probably an on-off approach onto runway 32, is it? Yeah, on-off X-ray 32 looks good to me. Perfect. Alright, cool. So that is pretty much our immediate return entered. What I'm going to do as well over here is to put the extended center line, and then PBD 01 is where we're going to join the holding, like that. Perfect. Okay, for a flight plan itself, we've got a zero fuel of 57.9. So 57.9, and we'll just take a 25 CG for now. Block fuel. Let's see. I probably forgot to start the loading, did I? I thought, like, well, just let it run while your passengers are coming aboard, but yeah, here we go. Okay, so we are gonna make that 11 point a bit like that load, and I tell you what, I'm gonna use instant now, because I did indeed forget to start that earlier. Okay, so block fuel 11.4, and then in terms of our alternate fuel and so on, let's have a quick look. It's going to be 2.1 for the diversion and final reserve 1.1. Okay, 1.1 and 2.1. Okay, 0.4, 0.2, that looks alright. Cruise out above max alt, how bad is it? Now that should be alright. Remember my video on why every one of you is flying your A320 too low? Well, do believe me, that probably applies here as well. So I would say 370 is a good level if our flight planning has previously determined that. Alright then, let's go ahead with our takeoff calculation. So that is going to be runway 32, dry. We can sync the load sheet, we can sync the weather. Intersections, we do have some available, but as you can see the runway itself isn't that long, 2,400 meters. For a 3-hour flight, I'm probably going to stick with the full length of the runway, so let's go ahead and calculate that. Okay, here we go. So it's going to be flaps 1, up trim 0.2. So we'll just use flaps 1 for now because we don't know the final CG yet. And 54 degrees of flex temperature, and the takeoff speeds are going to be 37, 46, 46. So 137, 146, and 146. We'll make it a noise abatement procedure number 1. So it's gonna number 2. So it's going to be 1020 and 1020, and the engine out acceleration at 1500 looks good to me. Okay. Nothing needed on here, that's all looking good, perfect. So our FMS is basically done. Okay, cool, so that is pretty much the preparation we needed to do, completed. So I would say with that, we can go ahead and start with our departure briefing. So, first officer, you're the pilot monitoring today, so please be so kind and go ahead with the takeoff briefing. Alright, so it's going to be runway 32 for the Gold Coast 6 departure. First cleared altitude is going to be by our traffic control. Let's just put something like 5,000 or so in here. MSA, we are going to climb out over the water, so we'll be happy in 3,000 feet all around. And extra fuel and time, if we have a quick look into that, we end up with, it says minus 0.2 for now, but believe me, that is gonna change, and we can quickly request our wind as well. That might already make a difference. Okay, cool. So hotspots for planned taxi. Well, for now we are fairly unfamiliar with the airport, so I'm sure I'm gonna fly here more often in the future, but for now fairly unfamiliar. So we just gotta make sure that we don't hit any ground equipment, as there's quite a bit of it standing around over here. Stop margin for rejected takeoff is not going to be too much. Unfortunately, the EFB doesn't tell us exactly how much it is. For the EOSIT, we proceed on the runway track 25 miles to the PBD01 point, and we can climb 3,000, pick up the holding over there. Immediate return, if we need to, is possible. However, we will be above the max landing weight by about 4 tons or so. So if we need to return, we can always do the overweight landing checklist and just return anyway. Okay. Then, special operation, non-standard operation, I don't really see any, so just to mention it over here, with the wind now upling, we've got exactly the amount of fuel we need. Okay, so, which threats do you see for our departure? Alright, in terms of threats, the only one I see really is a bird strike hazard over here, so if a bird strike happens, our engine outset is clear, our engine out procedures are clear, so I don't really see anything other than wildlife. Okay, I do fully agree. So with that, let's go ahead with the cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pits and covers removed. Fuel quantity 11,400 kilograms balanced. Seatbelts on. ADIRS. Nav, barrel ref, QNH. Well, that one's interesting. When I hit the B button over here to synchronize my weather, then it gives me 1004, while the EFB gave me something completely different there. 1016. Well, that is from the 18th at 1730 Zulu, so that is pretty much the time where I'm recording this. You can see, well, it says 19th January here already, but that's just because I set my simulator to daytime. So this time is pretty much correct for the moment I'm recording this, so what's the scheduled elevation over here? well, 21 feet, and that is what our altimeter read at 1004. That's interesting. Well, let's have a quick look into the weather in Microsoft Flight Simulator, see what that tells us. Gold Coast, no data available. Next one, no data available. Is there anything that's got a data available? No. Okay, well, tell you what, the elevation is correct over here, so we'll just assume that Microsoft Flight Simulator is once again messing up and not giving us correct weather. I suppose that's probably all we can conclude from this. Anyway, we'll keep 1004. The ground temperature is 23. Let's just make sure that we got that stuff in our takeoff calculator. Yeah, 23, 1004. That's actually correct. That's interesting. Okay, well, if that is what they calculate, then that is what they calculate. So be it. Packs off, takeoff. Okay, so, to complete the checklist, barrel ref, QNH 1004. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. So, see, that's why those checklists do make sense. They sometimes make you think about stuff that otherwise you would, you know, probably miss. Otherwise, I would probably just have dialed in 1016 and not messed with it. In any case, refueling is now completed, so we can turn the fuel pumps on. Okay, and we do have a running APU since it's rather hot on here. The hot sun is shining right onto our airplane as well, which is heating it up even further, so... Ground power can be removed, and then we can go ahead and start with our push preparation. Talking about it, GSX icon is gone. That's interesting. Oh, just because I turned it off. Okay, no worries then. So, request pushback and departure. It is worth pointing out that at this moment I don't have a GSX profile for this airport yet, so chances are it might be showing or pushing us somewhere where we don't really want to go. Okay, so, that's pretty much this. Let's quickly say hello to our passengers, get rid of all that ground equipment. No, you're not. You're standing there with a pin in your hand. The tuck isn't connected. You are absolutely not ready for pushback, my friend. Okay, so that's all the stuff removed. Our parking brake is indeed set. Very good. Cool. Then let's go ahead and do the load sheet real quick. Should be here by now. Roger. Here it is, load sheet, in compliance with edition number 1, very good. So, we can accept that. It's 57.9. That's what we got. And the CG is 30.3. Okay, fuel in tanks 11,400, that matches, and that gives me a takeoff weight. 69.1, 69.1, 145 passengers plus 1, looking good. Okay, and that CG is 27.6. So 27.6 should be something over here. Let's say an uptrim 0.2. I do wonder why Phoenix doesn't put the trim into the load sheet. I mean, in my company and in my airline group, it is standard to get the trim together with a load sheet. But okay, so be it. We got now what we need, so that is good. Alright, so, ground cockpit, go ahead. So, pushback approved with the nose going to the right, and parking brake is set. Okay, you're set, release brakes. Parking brake released. Roger. Before start checklist. Parking brake. Off. Taker speeds and thrust. 137, 146, 146, and flex 54. Okay, windows. Closed, beacon on. Before start checklist complete. It's interesting. In the A330, when you're checking for the windows, you've got to make sure that there is no red part of any button visible. So, in the A320, you've got to make sure that it is visible to make sure the window is locked. That's kind of interesting. In my opinion, it makes more sense in the A330, where you make sure that there is nothing red. In the A320, you've got to make sure there is something red. That is strange. But okay, Airbus logic. French. Okay, ground cockpit. Starting engines 2 and 1 in sequence. Engine 2 start. N2. Let's have a look at that pushback. If they stop here, I'm actually going to be rather happy about it. Just don't push me into the grass, please. Yep, that's alright. Okay, park and accept. Ground cockpit, starting engine 1. Engine 1 start. It's a little strange that the avail light only shows so late. That should come much earlier when the engine is basically stabilized. After like 45 seconds or so on the CFM engines. The IAEs do take a little bit longer, like a minute or something, but you can see that rather nicely in the fly-by-wire A320 actually. Okay, so we've basically got 2 good starts, even though the avail light isn't there yet. Ground cockpit, please prepare the airplane for taxi, see you with the clear signal on the left, and have a good day, bye-bye. And there she is. Alright, I do take it as thumbs up. Okay, so ground signal is received after start checklist. Anti-ice. Off. Ecom status. Checked. Pitch trim. 27.6%. Rudder trim. Neutral. After start checklist complete. Flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Okay, let's go for taxi then. Quick look into the taxi chart actually. Should probably have done that in first place on the ground, but it's alright. Okay, so those are what we need, and then airport info. Okay, so basically straight out on Alpha, left on Charlie, full length. Okay, that's easy. Even I can do that. Brake check. Pressure 0. So, OrbX did talk about very high quality ground markings for the airport, and just look at all the level of detail we got over here. So that's really good. I do have to say, they are holding up with their promises. What I also really like are those plants, by the way. They just look really gorgeous. Especially if you're watching the video in 4K, then you will see what level of detail they put into that vegetation in the area here. That's really, really cool. It really gives the airport some of that feeling, if you know what I mean. Some of that feeling of authenticity, of actually being there. Like, also look at the vegetation we've got in here. It's really cool. Really, really cool. It's a great looking airport. It surely is. I can't really comment on the performance because the frame generation of my RTX 4090 just makes it impossible to judge on performance because, well, pretty much everything performs good. So I can't give you a fair comment on that, but overall, my impression is really good. Okay then, quick review of the takeoff briefing. Conditions haven't changed since we did our performance calculation, so 37, 46, 46 with the flags and the packs off for our takeoff. Packs off, maybe a little bit of threat there, because I just don't regularly do packs off takeoffs. In my airline, we usually have them on for takeoff. But apart from that, in case of engine failure, straight out on the runway track, and immediate re-landing is possible, but we are overweight. Okay, cool. So, that's that part. Come on, GSX menu, go away. So, just waiting for the cabin then. I should probably return to the center line. So, cabin report. We do need that before we are allowed to start with the taxi checklist. So we'll probably have to hold short of the runway for a couple of moments there before we can actually depart. Still got the taxi checklist to read, but we aren't supposed to start the taxi checklist before we receive the cabin report. We just gotta wait a bit for that. What we can do though is line up on the runway. We just gotta remember the cabin, so if there is no traffic around, ATC gives you lineup clearance, but we'll just do it anyway. Oh, not those. Only meant to put the strobe lights on. Okay, so clear on the approach. Clear on the right. By the way, that's some interesting detail on the roads over there. Just something I noticed while we're lining up over here. They did put some attention into the departure end of the runway. Okay, here we are. So, parking brake is set. We just gotta wait for the cabin to get ready now. Now, I did fly the fly-by-wire for a little while. In the fly-by-wire, you always needed to ding the cabin, likewise in the toeless Airbuses. In the Fenix, that was not the case, was it? Like in the real world on the A330, we absolutely don't need to ding them. They do their stuff on their own. But I tell you what, we want to get going, so let's do a little bit of convincing. Just to be sure that they eventually get going. And I tell you what, let's go non-standard. Taxi checklist down to ECAM memo, please. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, conform plus F, radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto, engine mode cell, norm, holding at ECAM memo. Ah, here they are. Okay, ECAM memo, takeoff no blue, taxi checklist complete. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Lineup checklist. Takeoff runway. 3-2 full length. TCAS. Tara. PAX 1 and 2. Off. Lineup checklist complete. Alright then. Jetstar 431. Runway 32. Clear takeoff. Okay, are you ready? Yes, sir. Takeoff. Manflex 54 SRS, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. .100 knots, checked. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. Heading, autopilot 1. All checked. Must be in a very nice spotting location right on the beach down there, right? That must be really cool. Thrust climb, open climb, auto thrust. Okay then, right heading 070 or something the likes. See, where's that first waypoint? Yeah, that heading does look good. Okay, pack 1 coming on. You're supposed to wait 10 seconds between turning the 2 packs on, but the Fenix just accelerates so incredibly slowly over here that I'm kinda... You know, normally it works fairly fine. You put 1 pack on, you wait until the flaps are retracted a step, then you put the other one on. Okay, flap 0. Speed checked, flap 0. Alrighty. Oh, what's that? Auto flight, autopilot off. Okay, hive control. So what do we have there? Auto thrust off, thrust levers move. Okay, that looks like an FCU failure. Okay, we will clear the 5,000. We do have thrust lock over here, so... Let's fly that airplane first. We'll level off at 5,000 on the heading 070 as they said. Speed 250 shouldn't be exceeded. And we'll level it off and then we'll see what we're going to do about this. By the way, that autoflight autopilot off there should be gone since I clicked the autopilot disconnect button, but well, so be it. Okay, 5,000, let's level off over here, heading 070. Okay. I'll tell you what, let's ask ATC for direct to Lamsey, and then we'll do our recon actions. Okay, proceeding direct to Lamsey, Jetstar 431. And we'll just tell them we are maintaining 5,000 for now, then we'll see later on. With that FCU fault, I don't see us flying to Wellington anymore anyway. So yeah, let's just stay in the immediate vicinity of the airport, then we'll see what we're going to do. Alright, that looks pretty stabilized to me now. Ecam actions. So, auto flight, autopilot off. Clear auto flight. Well, there is nothing further down there. That looks a little different from what I'm used to from my type rating. That's why I'm a little struggling with that exact indication there right now, but doesn't matter. Let's just take it from there. Auto flight, autopilot off. Auto thrust off. FCU 1 and 2 fault. PFD barrel ref, standard only. Okay, indeed we're on standard over here. So let's just see. 1004, we should be in 5,000. So the PFD is under indicating by about 160 feet. Okay. 260 feet actually. So let's make that 5,240 on our primary altimeters. And quickly cross-check that with the GPS altitude. So look down here, GPS monitor. Yeah, 5,200, that's okay. There's nothing grossly off there. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so, clear auto flight. Clear auto flight. Status. Okay, stop ecam. So let's see, do we have any normal procedures left? No, we've done those. The packs are also on. Very good. Then, can we do any resets? FCU. Well, quick look into the system reset table. Unfortunately, I only have that QRH on my iPad here, so I can't show it to you since we don't have a QRH in the Phoenix EFB. Now that'd be a very nice addition. But let's see. Autoflight, FCU 1 and 2 faults. Reset procedure in flight. Pull the CB Bravo 05 on the 49 VU for FCU 1 or M21 or 121 VU for FCU 2. Push it after 5 seconds, check the display targets and the barometric reference and correct them if necessary. Okay, so let's try and do those resets. So that should be the panel in question. But let's just see, it's 49 VU. Unfortunately, there is no marking on here. That's a pity. But let's see, they're looking for circuit breaker Bravo 05. So you got Bravo 05, FCU 1, that's it. Okay. That's out. And then we're looking for M21 on a different circuit breaker panel. Lovely. Well, okay, M isn't over here, so let's just see if we can reset FCU 1. 5 seconds are over. Put that back in. But there is nothing. Okay, let's see if we can find FCU 2 so that we could give that a try as well. Yeah, that can only be up here then. Okay, so let's see. Mike. Okay, those are all not similar. Oh, they are. Okay. Here it is. FCU 2. Okay. Let's get that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back in. Nothing. Okay. We did try the reset. It didn't work. Let's just make sure we're flying a Lamsey still. So we did try the reset. It didn't work. Okay. Well, in that case, let's just establish the airplane back towards Lamsey. And then we'll continue with the ECAM actions. Okay, that looks about like Lamsey to me. Give me a direct to Lamsey on the FMS, please. Okay, insert. Alright, that is looking okay. Well, okay, so, tell you what, I don't want to be flying in 5,000 feet out to the open ocean. Let's get a climb to level 100. First fly the airplane and stuff like that. Okay, so off we go. Climbing it up to level 100 and then we'll see what we can do about it. Now, yeah, come on, speed. That's quite a high airspeed now. Oopsie. Yeah, I did forget this is not an A330. This one you can get better rates of climb. On the A330 it's normally 2,500 at these altitudes and no more. Okay, we got 3,000 to go there. Let's reduce our rate of climb a bit. Approaching 2,000 to go. Start pulling that thrust off again. Okay, looking good. So, yeah, continue econ. So, status. PFD barrel reference, standard only. That is what we see indeed. Okay, in-op systems. FCU 1 and 2, Autopilot 1 and 2, Auto Thrust, Cat 2, GPWS terrain. Okay, remove status. Remove status. Ecam actions complete. And we've got 1,000 to go. Alright then, I tell you what, let's do a quick foredeck to figure out what we are going to do. So, facts. Well, FCU and EFIS control panels are gone. We are no longer able to do... Or we did try a reset, it didn't work. So that means we don't have an autopilot, we don't have auto thrust, we have no means to control our display layout. So that is going to be fixed where it is right now. And we also can't control our nav aid selections. We're stuck with the VOR1 and ADF2. And that is the case on both sides. However, we do have a VOR indication available on the GDRMI. And that is pretty much all we've got to offer right now. So what can and what can't we do? Well, we can only fly raw data, obviously. Due to the altimeter stuck in the standard reference, any non-precision approach would become a little bit more complicated, as we would need to do those corrections to the distance to altitude tables. I tell you what, that's pretty much our facts. What options do we have then? Well, options are continue to destination, but that is... I think we can rule that out right now, because without FCU we can't enter RVSM airspace, and I'm not gonna fly raw data for 3 hours anyway. So that option is gone. So what other options do we have? Well, return to Gold Coast. There's also Brisbane in the area. And then... well, we could obviously go to Sydney, we could go to Melbourne, any of these places we do have sufficient fuel for. Let's go with the risk and benefits then. Well, let's start with the first option, going to Gold Coast. And our risk and benefit for there. Risk, the runway is 2.5 kilometers, so it's the shortest of all the mentioned airports. Apart from that, I do believe we've only got non-precision approaches available over there, so we don't have... or we do have an ILS, but only a runway 14, I believe, not a runway 32, but we'll check that again. So, let's just check it right now. Approach. Yeah, it's an ILS on runway 14. And on the opposite side, runway 32. A couple RMPAR approaches. Well, we aren't going to fly any of them, but there is an RMP Zulu approach that we could fly. However, obviously without vertical guidance. What else do we have available then? Yeah, we do have other non-precision approaches. Okay, so that's it for Gold Coast. The obvious benefit would be passenger handling, since the passengers literally just came from there. So they pretty much know, or they pretty much know the area. It will probably be easier to accommodate them over there than to go over to any of the other places. Yeah, the major benefits I see for the other airports, mostly Brisbane, is that they do have a longer runway over there, but apart from that, I don't really see any benefits. Now, Sydney and Melbourne, also a long runway available, however, both of them with the risk that we would need to fly for a rather long time. So, let's decide. I do think the best option is to return to Gold Coast, because we do have all the handling available over there. What do you think? Yeah, you agree. Very good. Okay, so we decide that we're going to return to Gold Coast. Very good. Then let's see. We do have an approach out at Charlie Golf 2 Sierra Alpha for an RMP Zulu approach runway 34. Can we fly that one? Any restrictions here? There is no VNAV required. We are within the temperature range, maximum 210 knots. Okay, not a problem. For LNAV, VNAV only, local QNH and temperature required. Well, we are not going to do VNAV, so it should be alright. Okay, so we can fly it. We could, of course, also go for a VOR approach. Let's see what we got over here. That one would have a little bit of conventional data available at least. I tell you what, I favor the VOR over the... I do favor the VOR approach. Let's see what we got over here. Is there anything good for where we're coming from? Not really, yeah? Romeo 1-4 is not what we want to do. Okay, well, tell you what, it's going to be the VOR Zulu approach, and probably out of Casno then. Well, you have control. I'm going to put that into the box. So, new destination, YBCG. Insert, using cost NX0. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, arrival. We said VOR Zulu 32. And out of Casno, I believe. Yeah. Okay, good, that's in. Well, let's start with the obvious. Make a right-hand turn heading 270. Okay, so in the meantime we can continue down here. So direct to Casno, give me that radial in, insert. There, oh yeah, can't use any of that. There is a slight chance that we might get problems with Casno not sequencing when we overfly it. There is a temporary abnormal behavior in the AFCOM that when we are flying on raw data, so no flight director, no autopilot, and we do extend the center line, that we might, that Casno might not sequence. If that happens, we'll just sequence it manually, and then everything should work again. So, just to have that in mind. Okay, so from there on, let's quickly continue that turn onto 270, roll out over there, and then we are going to continue with our FMS setup. 5 degrees to go, in my opinion, works rather well on the Airbus. Yep. Okay, so that looks good to me. Alright, cool. Then let's continue with the setup down here. So that stuff's looking good. RATNAV, obviously. What do we need? Gold Coast VOR, Charlie Golf, and I do suppose we can tune that NDB Charlie Golf as well. So we only got VOR 1, but nonetheless I'll just tune it on VOR 2 as well. And then Charlie Golf can go into the ADF as well. Here we go. Okay, so VOR 1, ADF 2, that's what we have. Looking alright to me. Cool. Then let's continue. Straight in landing 3-2. Actual aero QNH available or forecast QNH? I'll tell you what, let's use the forecast values. So 790. And then obviously we need to correct that as well. So let's see, we had 1004, 23 degrees. Unfortunately don't have wind available, let's just put 0 at 0. Confull is looking good, 770. And now we set that we've got a difference between QNH and primary. Let's use mathematics there. 27 feet per hectopascal. It's 9 hectopascals, so 27 times 9. That is roughly 240 feet difference. Is it? Yeah, 240. Okay, so we are going to insert a QNH of 1030. Oh, sorry, a minimum of 1030. And in the meantime, let's just write down 240 over there so that we can have a look at a couple of the check altitudes in a few moments. Okay, so that's that. Missed approach, engine out acceleration. Where is it going? Heading 360, so that's in 3,000 foot area. Okay, so 3,000. Fuel, how much do we have? Yeah, 2.5 hours extra. Plenty of fuel. Okay. So that is that. Then I do suggest we go ahead and do a little bit of mathematics. Let's see, arrival. So Gold Coast, runway 32. Runway is dry. Not sure we can rely on this, so I'll just go safe and calculate a 5 knot tailwind here. Temperature was 23, QNH 1004. This may or may not be accurate, I really don't know. But we are calculating more conservative over here, so that is fine. Okay, let's see. Also, let's quickly go ahead, change that. Cruising level 100, thank you. So, destination fuel on board, 9.9. Let's make it 10 tons. So we got roughly 68 tons of landing weight. Certainly overweight, but we'll do something about that in a few moments. 68.0. Can we land? No, missing a couple meters. Okay, let's ask the air traffic control for the actual weather. Let's just say they confirm this. Let's go apply META. Now we can land. Okay, good. I'm gonna stay with that stuff in the FMS over here though. Just for the sake of it. Okay, cool. Let's see. Do we have any other restrictions or limitations on that approach? Except for the matter of fact that I'm not maintaining my assigned heading and stuff correctly. We need to add 240 feet to all those check altitudes. That is okay, we'll keep that in mind. What else do we need to do? We did enter the corrected minima. So the minimum callout should be okay. And apart from that, I don't really think there is a lot that we could actually do. Not really, yeah? Okay, in that case, let's go ahead with the overweight landing checklist. And I tell you what, let me quickly see if I can find that for you guys, so that we can actually pull it up on stream. Yeah, here it is. Okay, great. So, let's see what we got there. And here it is. Okay, overweight landing checklist. Let's have a look into that. So, use config full for landing unless specified by abnormal procedure or limited by landing performance. Landing distance procedure apply. We've basically done that. I mean, there is no landing distance procedure failure that you got down here, but most certainly we did enter the new maximum landing weight, so we're aware of that. Okay, for the approach, PAX 1 and PAX 2 off or supplied by APU. Alright, we'll supply it by APU, and that means we'll just go ahead and start that APU right now. Okay, APU is starting. Then, if landing config other than full, use config 1 plus F for go around. I don't see any abnormal requiring us to use config 3, so we are going to do config full for the approach. So it's a standard go around then. Speed at runway threshold VLS. Minimize vertical speed at touchdown. Okay, we will try. For landing, increase flare height. Use maximum reverse as soon as possible. After nosewheel touchdown, apply brakes as necessary. When landing completed, brake fans optional on. And we do have brake fans on the plane over here, so after landing we're going to turn on the brake fans. Okay. And that is the overweight landing checklist. So, starting up the APU. Once it's available, we'll put the APU bleed on. And then we've got the packs supplied by APU. We are at level 100 now, so we can already use it. But I tell you what, we need to start the descent anyway now, so let's go ahead and do that. At the same time, we can probably turn final already, intercepting the final approach course. It's going to be a little interesting tracking that, because there's a lot of stuff here on the display that makes it rather hard to see. But let's check once again. What is our final approach track? 314. Okay. So we'll fly it a little bit as a mix between the green line and the raw data indication. But 314 looks pretty good right now, so I'm happy with that. Okay, let's do that descent properly. We should maintain 250 knots for now. Okay, we can't go back to local QNH. And there is no further non-normal checklist, so we should be good the way we are right now. Okay, yeah, that's that. I'll do a very quick PA to the passengers. You have control. Ladies and gentlemen, from Flight Deck, this is your captain speaking. You might have noticed that we did not continue our climb on our flight to Wellington, and that is because we did experience a minor technical malfunction, and since we've got better engineering available at Gold Coast, we decided to return to Gold Coast for a landing there in approximately 10 minutes. We do apologize for the inconvenience caused, however, as you surely know, safety is always our primary concern, and for that reason we are now returning to our departure airport. The company is already looking into organizing further transport for you, so that you can hopefully continue your journey to Wellington very soon, and in the meantime we do apologize for the inconvenience caused. Thank you very much for your attention, thank you for your understanding, and we do ask you to follow the cabin crew's instructions as we approach our destination airport. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, good. So that's also done. Then let's go ahead and do the approach briefing. You start. Okay, the MORA for the approach is 3,000 feet. We are going on the extended centerline already for the VOR Zulu approach, runway 32. The minimum is 1,030 feet on the altimeters. The go-around trajectory is climbing right-hand turn over out to the sea. And extra fuel and time, we've got like 2.5 hours of extra fuel, so that is absolutely no concern. Alright, let's see, the platform is 3,000, so that's what we're descending to. Alright, what's that? Cabin pressure, low differential pressure, expect high cabin rate, aircraft vertical speed reduce. Oh, that's not good. I don't like that. Look at that, the outflow valve's just going completely open. Looks like the computer didn't recognize that we were returning, or that we stopped the climb. That's interesting. Okay, well, in that case, let's go ahead and do what the computer asks us to do. Reduce that cabin vertical speed here. Outflow valve is fully open, so the cabin basically does what the airplane does. That's okay. Alright. Good. Clear cabin pressure. Clear cabin pressure. Status is unchanged. Remove status. Remove status. Ecam actions complete. Right, tell you what, flaps 1. Speed checked, flaps 1. I'll start reducing our speed a little bit because we still got a bit of stuff to do. And we can supply the packs by the APU now. So that is done. Alright, cool. So, for the approach, it's going to be a raw data VOR approach, runway 32. Landing flaps full, stop margin is not all that much. Okay, yeah, so stop margin is in the region of about, yeah, give me 500 meters or something, unfactored. Okay, flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. Okay, reversers, maximum will be used. Auto brakes, yeah, officially speaking, we are not, we are supposed to do max manual braking, but that thing is very conservative, so I tell you what. Auto brakes, low at first, and then we'll do manual braking as needed. I'll just try to get a little bit of that energy into the reversers before going max manual. Okay, yeah, planned runway exit we'll probably have to vacate at the very end. And there are no hotspots for the taxi-in that we would be aware of. There is nothing that would actually prevent a taxi-in even, so that is all right as well. Okay, special operations, most certainly the way how we are going to conduct the approach. So I do need good pilot monitoring work here, which I don't have in Sim, but that's alright. A non-standard operation is that we are flying everything in raw data without any additional guidance available. Threats for the arrival? Yeah, situational overload is the main threat I do see here, so if we do encounter that, we can always go around, we can always come back, we've got sufficient fuel for several approaches. Okay, any other threats? Nothing from my side. Very good. Then the briefing is complete. Approach checklist, please. Barrel ref. On the standby, we've got 1005. Second cross-check. Seatbelts on, minimum. Barrel 1030. Auto brake, low. Engine mode cell, norm. Approach checklist complete. Okay, so if we have another quick look into the overweight landing checklist then. So for the approach, packs off are supplied by APU. They're supplied by the APU now. For landing, increase flare height, minimize vertical speed at touchdown. Okay, that's all understood. Fine, we'll do that. Happy days. Okay, 2 miles from our final descent point roughly. Let's just cross-check that once more. Yeah, we start at 9.6 DME on a 3-degree slope. Alright, perfect. So, gear down. And remove status. That is all understood. Flaps 3. Speed check, flaps 3. Flaps full. Speed check, flaps full. So, approach speed should be 143. Yeah, that was a little bit too much power. So, we are like 200 feet lower now, because I did obviously fly on standard again. So, 200 feet lower means we start the descent at 9 DME. That should be alright then. Okay, 9 DME, 3 degrees, let's go. Okay, the needles are looking good. We are on the way down, so let's see. 8 DME, 2480 plus 240, so we're looking at 2480. Yeah, looking good. Probably a little bit high right now. 7 DME, 2170. Gotta cross-check that on the standby. Can't see the puppy or anything the likes yet, but I can see some rather strong turbulence here. Okay, 7 DME, and we are like 60 feet high now. Let's try and correct for that. Okay, the runway is inside. We can go visual on that. Just gotta make sure to cross-check that altitude. Okay, spoilers on. Let's do that. Alright, approaching 5 DME, and there we should be in 1530. We got 0.5 miles to run, so we're actually rather good on path right now. Runway is inside over there. Speed is checked, correcting. Okay, Puppy is inside, 3 reds right now, transitioning to all visual. Okay, the last points from the overweight landing checklist then: minimize vertical speed at touchdown, increase flare height, use max reverse as soon as possible, and after nose wheel touchdown, brakes as necessary, and brake fan on when stopped. Okay. A little bit bumpy over here. Checked. Yeah, we're on the Puppy and we're on the center line.
Minimum.
Continue. If you're wondering about the stabilized approach criteria, with the wind as bumpy as it is right now, our ground speed mini would probably be jumping all about our speed tape. So for that reason, I'm kind of happy with our speed as it is. A little bit bumpy, that's for sure. Okay, increase flare height.
20, restart. 5.
Bit down. Okay, spoilers, reverse green, decel. $70 knots. Checked. I'll keep the reverse in for now. Manual brakes. Okay, after landing, brake fan on. That is looking okay. Alright, let's vacate that runway. We'll stop there and then we'll see what we are going to do next. First glance at the brake temperature. What? 30 degrees? Oh, you gotta be kidding me, Phoenix. There should be a couple hundred on there at least. Okay, let's get clear of that runway and then we'll see what we're going to do next. Nice little 30-minute flight there. 39 minutes. 38. However you want to take it. Okay, I'll take it onto the parallel taxiway and then we'll see what we're going to do. So I did mean it when I say that Gold Coast was a beautiful airport, but I didn't expect to see that early again. But well, ain't gonna complain, it's certainly a nice place to be at. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop it over here, and then we'll see what we're going to do. Okay, stopped. Park and brake set. What's the brake temperature at now? 50 degrees. Okay, completely unrealistic. That is completely unrealistic. Alright, well, with brake temperature not being an issue though, I will keep the brake fan on, nonetheless. With brake temperature not being an issue, I would say we can just taxi back to the gate and disembark normally. Do you agree on that? Yeah? Okay. Let's return to gate number 1. Or, tell you what, let's take one of those gates with the jetway to see how the custom jetway simulation is that they did at Virtus over here. Okay, so, start charts, let's see, parking stands, yeah, something over here I suppose, 7, 8, let's see, parking 10, now that seems a bit far, I want number 8, which is not in here, that's interesting, okay, let's try that again, Oh, it's probably marked as gate position, that's why. Okay, 8 left, 8, 9, 9 left. Okay, 8 left sounds good to me. Let's take that. Request follow me, no thanks. Okay, so we go straight all the way, then enter the apron here, Alpha, Echo. Okay, looks good to me, after landing then. What's temperature? 23. Okay, that's fine. After landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear. Off, after landing checklist complete. Okay, well, that was certainly an interesting flight. I did absolutely not plan that ahead of time. Indeed, how did that failure even come on? I don't remember programming that. Let's have a quick look while we taxi in. Config. Okay, maintenance unavailable right now. That's fine. Okay, manual failures, auto flight. Yeah, FCU channel fault. That's interesting. Both channels failed. Well, who did that to me? Oh, I got an idea. I actually got an idea. I'm crossing that parallel runway over here. It's just a small general aviation runway though. Going like over here. So, we can cross that. I tell you what, guys. Here's that runway, by the way. Certainly got to be an interesting one to land on. You might have to pick out a Cessna afterwards. So, I tell you what. Prior to recording the video, I did have a little chat with a friend of mine over, what's it called? TeamViewer. And he did have access to my computer while I went to the bathroom for a couple of moments. I think I'm gonna have a chat with that guy. He must have inserted those failures because I had my flight ready and loaded in the preparation for recording the video, and he knew about that. So that guy must have inserted my failure. I'm gonna have a chat with you, my friend. I am going to have a chat with you, my friend. The way I originally planned the video, I wanted to make it a time-accelerated flight landing over in Wellington in, you know, close to sunset. And, well, we end up here back in Gold Coast. I suppose it's been interesting doing that, especially something like an FCU failure. That is a failure that you practice in type rating, but I honestly did not expect that at all. That was interesting. That was definitely an interesting one. Especially when it comes unexpected. Well, I suppose like that. We've done the best out of it. We landed safely. And, well, normally the taxi in on a video like that, I talk about the airport and what I like about it, what I might dislike about it. But on this one, well, this was definitely a different kind of flight. Now getting back to the airport though, it's definitely a very nice looking one. Like, just look at those gates passing by over here. They did a very good job just getting that airport to look, you know, yeah, they got it to look right. Is that a catering vehicle on my stand there? Not even the right stand. What did we select? 8 left. Yeah, that's a catering vehicle on there. Ain't gonna go there. Change gate, we gotta take number 8 then. No, follow me. That was a GSX catering vehicle. It just reset it when I... Oh boy. No further comment. So gate number 8 should be... Oh, bloody GSX. It's still putting vehicles on my stand. I tell you what. Revoke parking services. And the vehicles stay here? Seriously? No further comment on that. Can we restart the Throttle engine, at least get rid of those things here? Yeah, thank you. No further comment on that. Let's talk about the airport when we've parked. We've had it for today. We've had it with stuff not working. Though at least one of them's been interesting, while the other, well. Okay, so A320 is the first line over here without parking guidance, but we should be able to get it on. Assuming it's parallel to that one. Somehow parking like this, I suppose. Okay, APU bleed is online anyway, so here we go. Let's just go outside for a second. Yeah, that parking is alright. On the line, on the line. Okay, great. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Power is available. Excellent. Why are the slides still aren't? Now they're working on it. Okay. Engines are down. Okay, parking checklist. Park and brake or trucks. Brakes set. I'll tell you what, let's release those brakes. I mean, what's the brake temperature right now? 65 degrees. That's ridiculous. Should be up in the several hundreds. We did an overweight landing. The reversers took some time to climb out. So the wheel brakes were taking the energy at that point. Brake fan or not, those should be in the hundreds right now. So no further comment. And then obviously you would get the brakes hot ECAM telling you to release the parking brake when the chocks are in. And since we know that in the Phoenix, as soon as the power is in, the chocks are in as well, I'll release the parking brake. Okay, so parking checklist. Parking brake or chocks. That's the chocks in. Engines off. Wing light off. Fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. Alright guys, we made it back. It's certainly been an interesting one, this one. But here we are. So, we did talk about the flight already, so let's talk about the airport now, which kind of was supposed to be the main feature of the video. So, how is ORBX Gold Coast airport looking? Well, to be honest, frankly, quite amazing. Now, all the textures, especially around those smaller stands, are really, really neat. On the main terminal, if I'm looking at this, you know, the area that we've got up here is looking like really good inside. Now down here, I'm not sure what's supposed to be in here. Like, this is just empty, I suppose. So not exactly sure what's supposed to be there. I don't know the real airport though, so it might be that it simply looks like this, that they just put glass in front of the wall. Wouldn't be surprised about it, see something like that down under. But apart from that, let's just get a bit of distance from the airplane so that it gets a bit more quiet. Apart from that, the other terminal over here is looking really, really awesome, especially the parking area with all that level of detail with the tow bars here, with the baggage loaders, with all the personnel standing around and their cars. Everything in a really high level of detail. Like, look at those containers over here and those vehicles. It just gives that airport a very, very cool feeling to it, and that is my main impression. That actually was my main impression when I loaded up the flight at the gate in first place. Now there is a couple of things over here that I do need to point out. Well, I'm German, I gotta complain about something, and it would obviously not be fair review if I just pointed out the good parts of it, even though I did get a free copy, thank you for that. But here's some of the negative parts. If you take a very close look in the gate area, you can see that there's some colored spots on there. Like, you got a bit of green over here, a little bit of red over here on the apron, and you can kind of see those green to red transitions. Well, over those parking areas over here, like if you go a little bit further back, you've got the greenish parts over here as well. That is something that I do observe in quite a couple of sceneries when they are using photoreal scenery as the background. So if they just purchase the photo scenery and use that as the basis for your airport, that does make it look pretty good because you get a lot of details on it, but it also means that these greenish, reddish spots come on the apron. I did see that for the first time, like, I don't know, 10 years ago in the scenery, and ever since developers kept doing it. But the good news is if we just go out to the taxiway, then you still see it in the darker areas, but only very lightly in the brighter areas. So overall, if you're just looking in front of, you're not looking at the very closest level of detail over there, then it does look, then it is not that hard to spot. Apart from that, huge level of detail over here. I especially like the vegetation down here in that little, well, I do suppose there would be some water flowing there in the real world. That is what they often do on airports. And apart from that, good level of detail on everything on the sides as well. If we just look at that taxi lamp over here, looking really, really good. So that's my overall general impression from the airport. Can absolutely recommend it. It's not going to be too expensive. It's ORBX after all. So it's going to be less than 20 bucks. And in euros, that is. And yeah, that is my first impression of Gold Coast. Again, very nice land side. I mean, look at that bus terminal here. That's just really, really cool. And our passengers are probably going to be rather unhappy to see it, but us flight simmers are going to be really happy to see that good level of detail. And that's my conclusion for this video, guys. Let me know how you like it, and let me know if that airport is going to be on your purchase list. It's going to be out very, very soon, probably the day after I release this video already, so by the time you're watching this by chance, it's going to be out already. So with that now, thank you very much for watching. Do hope that you all enjoyed it. Do hope that you enjoyed that little unforeseen event there on our departure. And well, with that, I would like to say thank you very much. See you all again on the next one. Comment to let me know what you think. Hit that like button to help out the channel. And be sure to subscribe for more. If you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. But in the meantime, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, and I see you all again on the next one.